Welcome to Transportation Thursday. This is WPPA's brand new weekly transportation themed blog. I'm Chris Herman. I work on transportation related issues for you here at WPPA. We're launching Transportation Thursday right now because there are a lot of conversations going on this interim around transportation and infrastructure funding. So one, we want to give you the most recent and up-to-date information about either bills or packages that are advancing, whether those be in Olympia or in Washington, D.C. And second, we want to give you tools to advance your project. Now, it might be a project that the port itself is sponsoring, or it may be projects that are of local or regional significance to you. Either way, we want to give you tools to help advance those projects and get them funded. Now, there has never been a time in at least the last 5 years, if not longer, to be seeking funding for transportation projects. So at the federal level, commercial project or community project funding has been reintroduced. These are also known as earmarks. And so earmarks are back. And if you haven't already been talking to your congressperson or senator about funding to be included in the federal bipartisan infrastructure package, you might be a little too late for that. However, there are other opportunities. Surface transportation reauthorization is also advancing in Washington, D.C., and there's likely to be earmarks in those bills as those advance as well. We'll talk about those in more detail in a future session. But what I wanted to talk to you about today is to give you 5 steps that you could start by taking to advance your project. And the first step is to get your project prepared. Now, this is a very standard, whenever funding becomes available, lots of new projects come out of the woodwork. And that's not the right time to start working on a project. There's never a bad time. But if you're seeking funding immediately, you need to start and you need to be prepared. So whatever the port can do to advance a project in the pre-engineering and pre-construction phases as early as possible and get those projects advanced as far as possible before you seek funding, the better off you'll be. So there's a number of reasons for that. First of all, the cost of the project is going to become more clear the further advanced you are. And that's going to instill confidence in both legislators as well as your local community. So the other piece to that is to make sure that you are building and generating support locally for that project. All of these things are going to help to get that project funded whether you're seeking an earmark or you're seeking state funding. So other important, really key aspects are make sure to get the project documented in your port's master plan. If your port maintains a transportation improvement plan or has a capital facilities plan, that's great. Get those projects documented in those plans. That'll be a really key step to making sure that you're communicating clearly about what your objectives are to your community leaders. Another really important step that oftentimes we hear ports struggling with is getting their projects into a regional transportation plan or into the regional transportation improvement plan, or the RTIP. This is a really important step. In fact, we're actually hearing that if you're seeking an earmark, it's a prerequisite that your project be included in the regional plan in order to be considered for an earmark. So the process is working with your metropolitan planning organization or your regional transportation planning organization or your council of governments to make sure that that project is documented in their plans. And then when appropriate, work to get that project also documented in any relevant state planning efforts as well. Again, this is going to help to make sure that folks recognize that the project has gone through a review and has significant local support for it. Another really important step that you can do is to get your local state legislators active and involved on your projects. Perhaps invite them to a commission meeting where you're getting a briefing on a project. Better yet, go and have a site visit of where the project will be constructed and invite your legislature or your legislators to participate. It's a really great way to be able to talk to them about the project, the importance and the local benefits of the project, and what's most important is making sure to get their support of that project. You really need that your local legislator then to be advocating at the state level to make sure that those projects are included in any future state transportation program or package that's advanced. And again, if you're seeking federal earmarks, many, if not all of those earmarks are going to require a 20% match, maybe up to a 50% match. So that state money is really an important part to getting your project funded. Now, as far as advancing a state transportation package, you're all aware that we weren't able to and weren't successful in getting a new transportation package funded last session. There's ongoing conversations about possibly advancing these discussions here in the interim. So WPPA is working on that, and there are ways that you can help. One thing that your port could do, if you're so inclined, is to consider having the commission pass a resolution of support for additional transportation funding at the state level. If that's something that your commission is interested in doing, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to provide you with some guidance and possibly some additional or some language that you could use to consider for a commission resolution. Now, if I haven't given you 5 really great ways to get started on advancing your infrastructure or transportation project, I'll leave you with a really simple one, is come back here every week and watch Transportation Thursdays, and you will be in the know, and hopefully we'll give you some new tools to help advance your projects. So until next time, thanks for joining us on Transportation Thursday. We'll see you next time.